Hello everybody, I'm talking to you from Holy Family Church in Langley, and I'm beside our crib, our beautiful figures that we have. And why I'm sitting here is because actually it's very unusual for us to have our crib up in place at this time. We're still in the season of Advent, but like many people in this present situation, I found myself decorating my house sooner than I normally would do, and we've decorated our church for Christmas, mainly because we are pre-recording a Christmas Mass. But there's something, I think, in all of us that we just really want to cheer ourselves up and enjoy all these symbols, these pictures of our Christmas story. I think there's something else though, apart from putting up decorations and everything, that will help us at this time to really get into the Christmas story and to enjoy it and to indeed to cheer ourselves up. And that is to look at the stories that we find in the Gospels about the arrival of Jesus. And I think sometimes we can think that they're all the same, and in fact they're very, very different. So for instance, Mark, the Gospel we're hearing in this liturgical year, he doesn't have anything at all about the infancy of Jesus. He starts off by saying the proclamation of the good news about Jesus Christ, the Son of God. So Mark has nothing at all. Luke, in his first two chapters, he has a very human story, and there's lots that we can enjoy about Luke's telling of the story. So it's very much through the eyes of Mary, the Annunciation to Zechariah and then to Mary herself, the visitation and Mary's Magnificat, the birth of John the Baptist, then the birth of Christ and the coming of the shepherds, presentation of Jesus in the temple, and then his finding in the temple. And if Luke's Gospel is through the eyes of Mary, Matthew's Gospel is through the eyes of Joseph. And there's very little in Matthew's Gospel that we have in Luke. So he starts off his first chapter by giving us the genealogy of Joseph and showing that Joseph came from the house of David. And so Jesus, by adoption, comes from the house of David. We hear of Joseph's dreams. He has 5 dreams. And he answers the call of God, and he takes Mary to his home. We have the birth, and then we have the visit of the Magi. So they're very different the way that they are told. And then we come to John, who is so different to the other Gospel writers. Beautifully so. In our parish at the moment, we're having a reflection each evening using this book called The Stations of the Nativity, written by Father Dennis McBride, and we're using it by permission of Redemptorist Publications. And on the first evening of the reflections, we listened to John and the beginning of his Gospel, which we call his prologue, and it begins, "In the beginning was the Word." And this is what Father Dennis McBride says about it. It's so beautiful. When the evangelist John celebrates the beginning of the Jesus story, he goes back before time, before history, before creation. The Jesus story in John's Gospel begins not with an adult Jesus by the River Jordan, as in Mark, or a newborn baby in Joseph's home in Bethlehem, like in Matthew, or a newborn lying in a borrowed manger in Bethlehem, as told by St. Luke, but before the creation of the world. John's Messiah does not come from Bethlehem, but from outside the realm of creation. Neither can he be accurately identified as Jesus of Nazareth, because he does not come from there, but from the upper realm. For John, the details of Jesus' earthly beginnings are irrelevant. No birth story is told, no mother is introduced, no time is recorded, No place is noted, no witnesses are named, because his true origin is beyond the cosmos. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John goes back beyond the prophets and the Jewish story of Matthew and the human story of Luke to rework Genesis and anchor the beginning of the Jesus story in the originality of God. And so we have three such different accounts of Jesus and who Jesus was and how Jesus arrived. People sometimes say, why don't we have 4 Gospels? Why don't we just have one Gospel? But you can see by reading those different accounts the richness of the evangelists give us of who Christ is, who he is, our Saviour, born in Bethlehem for Luke and for Matthew, but born beyond time for John. I encourage you in the preparations for Christmas, before the rush and the tear, to look at those infancy stories, those evangelists' accounts, and just cherish them.